That's right, and might alone! Without strength, we have nothing!
Dragon Ball as a franchise has always been known to host a wide variety of casts and characters, some with a lasting impression and some not so much. Those being among the more memorable would often boast intricate designs, abilities, or a combination of both, which have proved to be both marketable and lasting, have stood the test of time, and has even seen a reintroduction or a rebranding in some way or another. On the other end of the spectrum of the Cool Characters Club, we have those who have not seen the light of day in mainstream Dragon Ball media, apart from a hero's cameo which doesn't amount to much really, considering they'll take just about anyone. Within this pool of characters both loved and ignored, the introduction of one, Jiren the Grey, sticks out the most. Introduced as the pinnacle of strength, the absolute wall that the main cast has to overcome to survive and really push their limits, the ultimate survivor ended up falling short. This is largely in part due to the consensus that he is boring, flat, and all around shallow, but I believe there's much more that can be said about the strongest hero around.
If you can only fight me to a draw, you have no hope of defeating him.
The strongest warrior, the best hero, stronger than even the gods, Jiren the Grey. Admonished and trusted by everyone he encounters, it's clear to see exactly just how much the denizens of Universe 11 believe in him. The image that's been built up has been nothing shy of valiant, a true superhero. But on our first actual introduction, we see something a bit unexpected. We see a recluse, a standoffish and frankly rude person, with his manga interpretation being that much worse. Granted, their situation called for a more serious temperament, and from here on, we only see glimpses of Jiren, and from these glimpses we see his overwhelming strength. But that's all he allows us to see. It isn't until Jiren is really pushed to the point where he must contend with himself is when we see the focus of Jiren's character. After a certain point within the Tournament of Power, Jiren's past would be revealed, that being one of constant loss, and that loss being supplemented with power, absolute power, and isolation. The first of his many losses would be that of his parents by some random villain, and where Jiren would come to blame himself and his weakness. This serves as Jiren's initial introduction to what he would refer to as absolute strength, a deified idea, an entity to be worshipped. Though Jiren would eventually rise and find community, trauma and loss would soon visit him again by the hands of the very same monster that claimed his parents. Jiren is again left painfully aware of his own weakness and the might of absolute strength. Once more, he attempted to stand on his feet and to finally put an end to the cycle and avenge his fallen comrades, but no one would stand with him. They abandoned him. All Jiren has left is his own pursuit of power. It is in this moment the final pieces would come together and give rise to what would be the strongest in the universe. But beyond that, Jiren would ensure that he would never be hurt again. He would be untouchable. We don't see Jiren's life after this tragedy, not until he's introduced in the Tournament of Power. With the added benefit of being introduced within two different mediums, we see a fully realized Jiren who's dedicated his entire life to strength. In the anime, there isn't much to see until he takes the stage, but luckily in the manga we see a bit more. We see him saving people, lots of people, and doing so all by himself, even opting to travel without a ship, not even willing to rely on transportation. We are also told that the Pride Troopers, a union of heroes that Jiren would find himself a part of, is comprised of individuals with different ideologies and backgrounds. That them working together would easily fall short, but we would see the opposite. They work quite well together, all except Jiren, the lone warrior who saves up at the 11th hour to save the day, all by himself. He's made it this far both literally and figuratively by his own merit. His own power and abilities is, and always has been, the means of validation for him. The price of that power, however, was his stagnancy, both mentally and spiritually. The power that he desperately strove for was nothing more than a shell to protect the tragedy-stricken young boy. It is in this isolation he earned the trust of his power and his power alone. And more importantly to Jiren, he could never be hurt and abandoned again. Strength forgives all. Trust without strength is useless. These ideals, Jiren's very character, would meet its ultimate test at the Tournament of Power. He would meet his ultimate heel, Son Goku. At the Tournament of Power, Jiren would encounter a wide array of contenders who could pose no challenge against the Great Warrior. It isn't until he would encounter Universe 7's Son Goku and eventually his remaining teammates. Goku and Jiren, two characters seeking strength beyond strength, but on complete ends of the spectrum, stand diametrically opposed. Goku stands in direct opposition to Jiren, unbelievably strong but humble, kind. Jiren seeks perfection, Goku seeks improvement. Jiren obtained absolute strength all on his own, while Goku has made it as far as he has in large part due to his many teachers and ability to take and learn from others. This clash of ideals can even be seen in the two's fighting styles, where Goku has a vast collection of attacks to choose from, techniques passed down or picked up over the course of his life. Jiren's attacks are quite simple, consisting mostly of punches and kicks, which he uses to great effect. It is within the clash of the two fighters that Jiren would be at last pushed towards growth, but not before pushing Goku in that same direction. The ultimate fighting form, a special technique reserved for only the highest of deities, manifests itself in Goku. He has achieved new heights, higher heights, and gains the admonition amongst the godly spectators. Goku has grown. Decidedly weaker both in body and spirit, according to Jiren, Goku has overcome a limitation. He has found what lies beyond strength. After their first match, Jiren would be left comfortably superior, validated that despite Goku's newfound power, his way was still correct. That absolute power trumps all. But that security would soon dissipate following Universe 7's assault on the 11th. As many expected, both Universe 7 and 11 would be amongst the finalists, with the two deciding representatives being the leader of the Pride Troopers and Jiren himself. However, it would soon fall solely on Jiren's shoulders after Toppo would lose his battle against Vegeta. Before the fight between Toppo and Vegeta would begin, they would both respectively break through their own shells and follow with their own idealistic clash. Vegeta, who would elect to forge his own path to power, separate from Goku's, where Toppo on the other hand would choose to reject his own notions of justice and fully adopt one of pure destruction in its place. This catches Jiren's attention and even his praise, but it's also here that Jiren is again validated. He has seen firsthand the downfall of change and of shifting perspectives. Now, Jiren, left to shoulder his universe on his own, as he would prefer, must contend with Universe 7's final attempt, absolute power versus trust. In the final stretch, it is now Universe 7 versus Jiren, and it's here he begins to crack against the relentless pressure and tenacity of Android 17, the dynamic pairing of Vegeta and Goku, and the scathing, stinging force that is Frieza. Jiren is at last being tested. One by one, however, they begin to fall, until it is Goku who must shoulder the fate of the 7th universe by himself. But unlike Jiren, he isn't alone, receiving a chance by 17, strength from Vegeta, and the motivation of his longest and closest friend, Krillin. He finds the strength within to once more utilize the ultimate power, the mastery of self-movement, and to full effect, granting Goku the power he needed to pull through, and pull through he does, overwhelming the Universe 11 warrior. This power stands in the face of everything Jiren stands for and witnessed. Goku has made it to the finals by standing upon the shoulders of those who came before him, has gained power that goes against Jiren's ideals of exactly what power is, stating that attacks that exploit openings is not true strength. seeing Ultra Instinct as merely a gimmick. Proving no match for Goku's Ultra Instinct, Jiren finds himself in a position of helplessness. Right now, he's still that boy on the brink of losing everything, but now, he alone has the power to overcome. He alone is the strongest in the universe. And yet, it still isn't enough. And in a final and desperate attempt for both validation and understanding, Jiren lashes out on Goku's comrades, earning nothing but the latter's wrath. Jiren has been decidedly defeated, and he is lost. It is then that Goku's body begins to take the toll of his newfound divine powers, but to pick up his slack are his two surviving teammates, 17 and Frieza, with their sole mission, defeating Jiren. Again, Jiren lays fallen before his opponents, but now Toppo is there to spur him on, as Krillin and Vegeta would for Goku. Jiren can now begin along a new path, another perspective. He can begin to grow. He rises yet again, not as a lone warrior, but as someone with something worth fighting for. With this, Jiren finds the power to push forward with everything he has, with Goku rising yet again to answer in kind. Finally, Jiren's limits have been broken. Jiren has grown. No longer that weak boy who clung to strength in isolation, but now a newfound warrior and a new man. And though he would lose the tournament, the future he had to look forward to would be surely bright. The limit-breaking tournament has succeeded. The enlisted warriors showing the gods they were worthy of survival and capable of growth.
Strong like an